Alright, welcome back to my channel. It's official. It is time to move on to a new project. So I'm still going to be doing some polish for the Tetramino thing that I've been doing, but for the most part, I'm ready to move on to something new. I wasn't really going to planning on selling the Tetracube game or anything. So as I make improvements to my new game, with things like menus and whatever, I'll probably port that back to the Tetracube game, and I'll put all those new features and stuff up on itch.io. Um, Plus, it needs like music and sound or something. But anyway, so the poll had 7 votes, and it was pretty much overwhelmingly in favor of a roguelike. Okay, so if someone wants to let me know in the comments or something if my current design document that I'm about to show you fits enough with a roguelike. I don't know. It may not, and it's a kind of ambitious thing, but I figure the roguelike mechanics are going to be somewhat novel, in my opinion, anyway. All right, so tentative title is going to be Mech Mercenaries, or probably maybe Mech Mercenary. So the idea is that you're going to be running a mercenary company. You, as the commander, are going to be in a mech, and everyone else is going to be either infantry or a vehicle or something like that. So right now, I'm thinking, here's the sales pitch: Battle Brothers with tanks, mechs, and infantry. All right, and it's gonna be kind of an XCOM like. At least that's the goal right now. I'm not sure if it's gonna be quite the same as, like, you only control a very small number of troops at any given time, and all the tactical battles are kind of intimate. This might be on like a more grand scale, more like a turn-based StarCraft or something. Probably not that big, but that's the idea I'm going for here, where you have lots of troops. There's going to be positioning mechanics and flanking, probably aiming accuracy. I might actually just do some kind of like simulation for the accuracy instead of a percentage based attack. Because I don't know, I really like that about Phoenix Point versus XCOM. All right, but so what should they feel while they're playing? They should feel like the leader of a mercenary company that had to build a business from the ground up while paying back loan sharks. The loan sharks thing is going to be very important to this game. It's going to apply the pressure to the player, um, because even though I am going to support permadeath, that permadeath is going to have a well, I'll get to that below, but it's going to have kind of a novel effect on the company itself. And so the game should feel difficult and rewarding, like becoming going from a peasant and becoming a king. So kind of along the lines of oh, what's that game called? uh, Mountain Blade, like Bannerlord or something, where you kind of start out and you're just like a guy, and then eventually you can start your own faction and have your own, kingdom, things like that. That's kind of the idea that I'm going for here. So, what does the early, mid, and late game look like? All right, early on, you're going to be a single person. You're going to take out a huge loan from a loan shark to start a mercenary company, and you're going to use that loan to hire mercs and buy weapons, ordnance, mechanics. I'm thinking, you'll need like different types of mercenaries, so pilots for jets, that kind of thing, mechanics to maintain your uh, weapons and everything. Maybe even in like administrative type people to handle day-to-day operations, basically just add overhead uh, on top of the interest you're going to be paying to the loan sharks. All right, and then the player will be piloting a mech that they can design and equip themselves. That's the idea, anyway. We'll see how capable I am to do that, but that's the ambition right now. Similar to, like, I don't know, Front Mission, not like a huge customizable mech. Probably not on the level of um, like Armored Core or something like that, but like being able to pick your torso and arms and head, maybe your uh, targeting software, electronic countermeasures, that kind of stuff. Um, and then early on, I'm going to introduce the base building mechanics and the geoscape. And then the mid campaign is going to be mostly just taking on contracts to pay down your loans. You'll be paying interest. This will probably. I haven't decided if the geoscape is going to be fully turn based. But right now, I'm picturing something like Phoenix Point, where it's like a real time with pause, or even Xenonauts 2, where uh, things pass in real time, but you can pause time, and then every month you'll have to pay your interest, pay your salaries, that kind of thing. You'll probably have to pay your salaries every 2 weeks, not every month. I'll stick to I don't know, the standard business model, I suppose. But when you take those contracts, you're going to have some sort of a reconnaissance. So you'll be able to tailor your loadout and everything to the mission that you're taking on. But in any case, you're going to be dispatching the personnel, moving equipment around the geoscape, and then taking contracts that are local to those areas and maybe building up a base there. And then there will be base building things that affect the geoscape. Like if you build an airport, maybe within range, you can call in airstrikes in the tactical mission or something like that. Late game, you'll gain significant influence in the geoscape. And at that point, they could potentially form their own faction and maybe, paint the map, kind of a total war type thing. All right, so what's the critical path? You're going to be starting with nothing. You're going to take out a loan, create the mercenary company. You're going to design and build your mech. You're going to pick your loadouts, build and upgrade a base. It's going to be very basic at first. Then you're going to take contracts, outfit your mercs based on the contract intel. You'll get paid for those, and you'll pay the mercs. I'm thinking about having some kind of an insurance system. So if your mech gets destroyed, it'll have an insurance policy that you have to pay on monthly, but you will get a payout if your mech gets destroyed. But if your mech gets destroyed, your premiums will go up, that kind of thing. All the fun bullshit of being an adult in the real world. I was also thinking, this idea was kind of novel, at least I think it is. So I'm thinking that if you hire mercs, that if they get killed in action, that you'll have to pay the family or something because you got them killed. And so you can pay for an insurance policy so that the insurance pays it if they get killed, or you could risk it and have to pay, I don't know, 5 times their salary or something to their families. Or you could hire mercs that, don't have families and they don't care if there's insurance on them because they're not leaving anything behind in the world. So this is where the roguelike portion comes in. So the player will suffer permadeath. So your mech, your character is they can die. So it'll be kind of like having a king in chess on the board. That you'll want to protect it, but you'll also most likely be the most powerful unit that you have. So there will be kind of a risk versus reward and how much combat you want your mech to go into, how much safety or risk you're willing to take. So if you do die, the dynamic campaign map will stay persistent. So each run, you can die, but the current wars, everything, the world goes on without you, with or without you, I'm trying to say. So as of right now, I'm thinking there'll be some sort of succession. So you'll have trusted lieutenants, something like that, that they can take over when you are killed in action. And when this happens, maybe some mercs will leave the company because I don't know if there'll be a relationship system, but maybe just have like a percentage chance of a merc leaving your company, and in the chaos they could like steal the equipment that they've been using. So your company will still have like the loans on it and everything, but you'll be like a car loan, you'll be still paying it off even though it's totaled, or it was stolen or something. And maybe insurance can help balance this out too. As for if there's a narrative, oh yeah, and if anyone's not familiar, uh, when I started the Tetramino Tetracube game, I made kind of a design document where I just filled out like a bunch of questions that I'd want to have answered before I put fingers to keyboard and started actually coding. So this is going to serve as my design document. But question, is there a narrative? I'm not ruling out the possibility of that, but right now everything is planned to be emergent from the dynamic campaign map. Maybe I'll have like a relationship type thing where you can have people that maybe leave your company and start a rival company. Something like that might be cool, but I'm still not sure how ambitious I'm planning on being with this project. I'll get to that a little bit below. So as for proof of concept, has any of this been done before? Yeah, all the mechanics that they've done before in different games, maybe not combined in the way that I'm envisioning, but they have been done, so I don't need to do any like prototyping or tech demos or anything. This is going to be all tried and true stuff. So what kind of similar games am I borrowing ideas from, and what are they? So Battle Brothers, I like the idea of running a mercenary company. I mean, more than just Battle Brothers do that, but that's the first one that popped to my mind, and they did it really well. And it was kind of like a roguelike because it was a very difficult game and you had to restart a lot, but they didn't really have any persistence between runs. Whereas I want the campaign map to be persistent between runs. Even if you're commander, it changes. All right, so the other influence is XCOM. Right now, I'm planning on having turn-based tactical battles. I'm not sure if they're going to be on a grid, but I was also kind of like throwing out, playing with the idea of having it being like a real-time twin-stick shooter, and then like your other mercs will just be AI controlled or something like that, or you could have like RTS type controls. I was considering that, but right now I am thinking it'll be turn based. Not sure if it's going to be grid based or not. Weirdly enough, Animal Crossing was one of the inspirations. It's where I got the idea of having like a loan shark give you a loan that you have to pay off. Unlike Animal Crossing, I'm adding interest rates, and it's going to be a true loan shark, not just everyone calling Tom Nook a loan shark, but because he doesn't charge interest, man. I mean, he's pretty nice as far as a loaner goes. And Phoenix Point. This is probably one of my biggest inspirations. It's my favorite tactics game that's come out in years. But I like the idea of the building multiple bases on the geoscape, and then you have multiple factions that are kind of at odds with each other and can go to war with one another. I'm planning on having that as a mechanic, but it will be more fleshed out, I think. More Total War than Phoenix Point. Is tech prototyping necessary? No, no crazy new technology. Tried and true. I already mentioned that up above. Any visual prototyping? Now, this is something. No, I suck at art. I'm planning on winging it with the visual style. What could go wrong, right? But yeah, if I find somebody, a fellow hobbyist that wants to do art or anything for this, maybe I'll do some visual prototyping so that there's like a consistent look throughout the game. But as of right now, it's just going to be, I don't know, kind of like a Mech Warrior or Battletech type look, but lower fidelity because I suck at art. What are my resources? I'm not planning on spending any money other than maybe fees to release it on different platforms. if it's like particularly fun or something, maybe I'll pay someone for like music or maybe better art or something. But as of right now, this isn't planned to be some like great magnum opus of a project for me. Just kind of more of a tech demo. But this will be like kind of a precursor to the game that I really want to build. This is going to have um, a lot of the same principles that I want like my first, I don't know, true indie game to have. And maybe this will turn into that. I'm not rolling that out, but I'm thinking I'm still learning a lot. So I'm thinking at some point a full rewrite will probably be in order as the systems get more complex. As far as manpower goes, just me, unless someone out there wants to work for free. And time constraints, no external time pressures, but I do plan on making consistent progress. I'm going to be doing devlogs on this channel, and so maybe a self-imposed time of 6 to 12 months to decide if this is going to be something I polish up and sell or not. And I put out some like a basic roadmap here. So milestone 1 is just going to be basic housekeeping, menus, options, and then the turn-based tactical layer, which is going to consist of the actors with movement, combat, animations, abilities, basic sound, that kind of thing. Milestone 2 will be adding AI enemies, and then milestone 3, procedurally generated maps. I've been learning a lot about wave function collapse, and it's a pretty cool thing. So I think I might use that, possibly with a Unreal Engine 5 has something called PCG. It stands for procedural content generation, and it allows you to maybe not generate entire levels, although it does seem capable of that. But this seems like a decent way to randomly place, items, enemies, trees, plants, rocks, that kind of shit. Yeah, so there's going to be some learning that I have to do here, but right now I'm planning a wave function collapse, which if based on what I'm learning, I'm thinking that's probably how procedural generation works in XCOM and Phoenix Point. Several games kind of had that look when I was learning about this. So milestone 4 will be the geoscape and contracts. Milestone 5, I'll be adding base building. In 6, I'm going to have the factions and the dynamic contracts. And then 7, we'll do polishing up and then releasing, either free on itch, or maybe I'll put it on Steam if I'm like particularly proud of it. The rest, this is all stuff I haven't answered these yet. This is something that I'm probably only going to look at if like playtesting and stuff. This is only going to be if I end up wanting to sell this game. Otherwise, I'm not like really planning on having things like playtesting and bug reporting, that kind of stuff. But maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see where this project takes me. Yeah, and then that's about it. So marketing, yeah, again, no marketing unless I decide to sell it. And then community, that kind of stuff. But that's all the main points that I wanted to cover, and that's what I'm going to be working on going forward. And I figure as I learn new things, maybe I'll do like some one-off tutorials, and I'll create like a tutorial playlist thing. I'm already planning on doing one for the pathfinding algorithm that I wrote recently. So that'll be the first tutorial that comes from this. Otherwise, probably not going to tutorialize this like I did with the Tetracube game. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're excited about it, as excited as I am. I'll see you in the next one.